Hey guys, Dan Lucchesi here with the Lucchesi Property Group, and I am going to share with you the November market update. We're always, of course, looking back a month, so we're looking at the October data. One of the main things that I guess is coming up right now is there's a lot of reservation in the market. A lot of people are hesitant, and they're either fatigued by the rapid price increases that we've seen during the second half of 2020 and into really through pretty much all of 2021. The prices have gone up so dramatically in our Denver market that it's hard for a lot of people. And I don't know what the horizon holds. A lot of people are kind of talking about a bubble. Again, that's a conversation that's really been going on since 2015. So if you were in the early years of that conversation, I think it's safe to say that that wasn't correct. But are we there now? It's hard to say. Certainly the prices have gone up very dramatically, and the fundamentals of the economy definitely have some signs that should cause concern for most Americans. Inflation went up 6% from October 2020 to October 2021. That's actually about one of the single highest increases inflation has ever gone up in history. And so, is it possible that we're facing a time when prices could come back down and the general economy could go into a recession? Yeah, and I'm not an economist. That's above my pay grade, but it's something I'd be paying attention to. But if you have a need to sell a home or buy a home, which is driven by life rather than economics usually, this will hopefully be helpful information. So the first slide I want to talk about is active inventory. It's normally highest in the summer months and lowest in the winter months, November, December. It actually picks up a little bit in January. You guys will see this slide on the screen, and you can see we don't know the data for November and December yet, but what we can see is an interesting pattern where 2021 has remained very, very low but relatively stable compared to the normal seasonal upswing that we see in inventory counts, which is the black bars, and then the green line is 2021 specifically. All right, so why is inventory important? Well, when you have a balanced market, that gives buyers and sellers about equal negotiating leverage on the properties. And that's typically about 6 months worth of inventory to have a balanced market between buyers and sellers. Well, this graph that you guys are going to see on the screen shows you the actual number of months of inventory by price point, and you can see when you're down in the 200 to 600 range, you're talking less than half of a month really. So it's nowhere close to 6 months. It isn't until we get up to the $4 to $5 million price range that you see we're close to 6 months of inventory. So $4 to $5 million, you're probably looking at close to a balanced market. And when you get up into the $5 million plus range, that is where you'll see actually buyers having more of the negotiating power in the conversation. So basically anything under about 5 million is under 4 million is pretty dramatically skewed in the seller's favor. Still, what I have been seeing, and this is a little more anecdotally speaking, is some deals are still going forward quickly, in under a week with multiple offers. And then other deals are a little slower to start out with, and the interest level isn't quite there. But eventually it kind of gets to, at least in our case, around to that list price or at or above it or right below it, somewhere right in that range. And that's a little bit new. Most of the time we've consistently sold properties in, on average 6 days with multiple offers and going well over the list price, even higher, again, in our case, than where the market average does. The next slide I want you guys to look at on the screen is a heat map. So this shows you if you are wanting to purchase a property and you know where you're looking. If you're in the red, some of these areas in the red, it's going to be very competitive. On the other hand, if you're looking out, say by like Elizabeth or Franktown, kind of in that area, you'll see that's actually the least competitive. And this gives you an idea of the distribution. And so there may be some areas you want to focus on being less competitive, or prepare yourself for how competitive it's going to be in the area that you are set on purchasing. The last slide I want to show you guys is really the list to sold price ratio. And I share this slide with every single one of our sellers. The reason for that is strategy. Sometimes people think that if they price the home as aggressively as possible, go after the highest price possible, that whether someone's willing to pay it or not, they'll find ultimately the best price. And I don't agree with that strategy. Respectfully, the market data and my experience say otherwise. What we typically see is that homes that sell in the first week are going under contract with multiple offers. And when there's multiple offers, it's much like an auction. The buyers compete with one another. They present their most aggressive offer because they want the home. And the data shows that homes that sell in the first week, right now in October, we're getting 103.5% of the list price. Dramatically, you drop to 99.3%. So you almost about a 4% difference in price if you sell during the second week. And when you get out into the later weeks, you see that the trend continues and it just declines all the way down to the point where you're looking at about 90 or even 89.9% of the list price. So for that reason, all of my sellers understand that I'm recommending that they price the home at a realistic price that we think it will sell at, and staying on the conservative side of that range to allow room for the buying market to compete with one another and drive the price to the final price that someone's willing to pay. So guys, I know a lot about the market. That is probably one of our key specialties. We are experts in the Denver market. And if you have questions, feel free to ask us. We are happy to chat. We're happy to dig into the market, answer questions, and just be educators for you guys. Our contact information is below, and we'd love to hear from you. And if you know anyone that has a need for a great real estate professional, please have them give us a call. Thanks.